Yehovah Yireh. Yehovah will provide. Yehovah Elohei Yireh. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Please fill me and lead me, and cover me and stir me, and speak through me with your Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness and humility to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. We'll start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yehovah, pay careful attention and respond. Yehovah is our power and authority. Yehovah works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yehovah with your power and authority, with your thoughts and mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Yeh-ho-VAH. Hand, behold, nail, behold. 2 Chronicles, chapter 23. In the 7th year of Jehoiada, took courage and formed a conspiracy with certain captains of 100-man platoons. Azariah, the son of Yeraham, Yishmael, the son of Yochanan, Azariah, the son of Oved, Maasiehu, the son of Ededyehu, the Elishaphat, the son of Zechri. They canvassed Yehuda and gathered Elof the Levaim from all the cities of Yehuda, together with the clan heads of Israel, and came to Jerusalem. The whole assembly made an agreement with the king of the house of God. Jehoiada addressed them. Here, the king's son will reign, as Yehovah said in regard to the descendants of David. Here is what you are to do. Of you Kohanim and Levaim who come on duty on Shabbat, a third are to guard the gates, a third the royal palace, and a third the gate of the foundation, while all the people are to remain in the courtyards of the house of Yehovah. No one is to enter the house of Yehovah except the Kohanim and those Levaim who are actually performing the service. These may enter because they are holy, but the people are to observe Yehovah's order. The Levaim are to surround Elof the king, each man with his weapon in his hand. Anyone who enters the house will be killed. Stay with the king wherever he enters or leaves. The Levaim and Yehuda did exactly as Jehoiada the Kohen ordered. Each took Elof his men, those coming on duty on Shabbat and those going off duty on Shabbat, for Jehoiada the Kohen did not dismiss Elof the divisions. Jehoiada the Kohen issued the captains of hundreds, Elof the spears, and Elof the large and Elof small shields had been King David's, and were kept in the house of God. Then he positioned Elof all the people, each man with his weapon in his hand, for the right side of the house and the left side of the house, alongside the altar, alongside the exterior of the house, and around the king. Then they brought out the king's Elof son. Elof crowned him, gave him a copy of the Elof testimony, and thus made him King. Jehoiada and his sons anointed him, and they shouted, "Long live the king!" When Athaliah heard the Elof sound of the people running and praising Elof the king, she entered the house of Yehovah where the people were, looked and saw the king standing there in his platform at the entrance with the leaders and trumpeters next to the king. All the place of the land were celebrating and blowing the trumpets, while the singers with their musical instruments were leading songs of praise. At this, Athaliah tore Elof her clothes and cried, "Treason! Treason!" Jehoiada the Kohen brought out the captains of hundreds who were in charge of the armies and said to them, "Escort her out past the ranks of guards, but anyone who follows her, let him be put to the sword." For the Kohen had said, "Do not put her to death in the house of Yehovah." So they took her by force and led her by the horses' entry to the king's palace, and there they put her to death. Jehoiada made a covenant between himself, all the people, and the king, that they would be Yehovah's people. Then all the people went to the house of Baal and broke it down. They smashed his altars and images and killed Matan, the priest of Baal, in front of the altars. Jehoiada appointed officers for the house of Yehovah under the supervision of the Kohanim and Levaim. whom David had assigned turn duty in the house of Yehovah, to offer the burnt offerings of Yehovah, as written in the Torah of Moshe, with rejoicing, singing, and keeping with David's orders. He stationed guards at the gates of the house of Yehovah, so that no one who was unclean in any respect could enter. He took Elephtah, the captains of hundreds, the men of Elephtah of rank, the Elephtah rulers, and the people, and Elephtah all the people of the land, and they brought Elephtah the king down from the house of Yehovah, going through the upper gate to the royal palace, and seated Elephtah the king on the royal throne. All the people of the land celebrated, and at last the city was quiet. That is how they killed Athaliah with the sword. How can we learn to love our Creator after reading this fascinating 23rd chapter of 2nd Chronicles? We can love Yehovah by trusting His timing for justice and restoration. Love Yehovah by acting boldly when He calls for righteousness to rise. Love Yehovah by rejoicing when His covenant order is restored. How can we love our neighbors as we love ourselves and as Yeshua loves us? By encouraging others to return to Yehovah's house and celebrate His righteous reign. How can we bear one another's burdens? By standing guard with faith beside others who fight for holiness, protecting what Yehovah has ordained. What are the top 3 fruits of the Spirit found? 1. Courage. Jehoiada acted in faith to reveal the rightful king. 2. Faithfulness. The priests, Levites, and guards upheld Yehovah's covenant plan. 3. Joy. The people rejoiced as righteousness and peace were restored to Jerusalem. What is the Hebrew word that encapsulates this chapter? Geh-oo-LAH, redemption, restoration, deliverance. Verse 16. Jehoiada made a covenant between himself, the people, and the king, and they should be Jehovah's people. How can we find Yeshua in the scriptures? The hidden king Joash being revealed mirrors Yeshua's coming revelation to the world. The covenant renewal in the temple foreshadows Messiah's new covenant in the heart. The destruction of Athaliah's rule points to the fall of false authority before Messiah's reign. What is the mitzvah response? Torah-based? Mitzvah. Deuteronomy 7 verse 9. Know therefore that Yehovah your God is God, the faithful God who keeps covenant and steadfast love. A response might look like this: I will take my stand in Yehovah's house, rejoicing in His redemption and covenant truth. Hebrew declaration: Geh-oo-LAH, Yehovah mi-vi'ah, simcha, u-mach azira, zadik li la aretz. The redemption of Yehovah brings joy and restores righteousness to the land. End with the Aaronic blessing on this Friday night Shabbat using the name. Yehovah will kneel before you presenting gifts, and He will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehovah will illuminate the wholeness of His being toward you, bringing order, and He will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehovah will lift up the wholeness of His being and look upon you, set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Shabbat shalom, shalom, shalom.